Today I'm making a short advice video to help you improve your pumping. So I'm going to talk a bit about mistakes that can hold you back from progressing or little tips that can make a difference. So first, the number one tip that really makes all the difference, we know it, but we never think about it is where you look. Honestly, it's super simple, but where you look is where you're going to go, plain and simple. And often when we're a bit scared, when we focus, stressed, or not used to it, we look at our feet, we fix our gaze on something that's not the right thing. If, for example, you look to the right of the dock at the start or to the left, you'll end up going to the right. If you look straight ahead, you'll go straight. And if you look at your feet, well, you'll end up in the water. It's as simple as that. So this advice really shouldn't be taken lightly. And even when you're already really good at pumping, it's a tip that sometimes gets forgotten. So remember to pay attention to where you're looking, whether you're already really good at pumping or just starting out, no matter your level. It really makes a difference. Sometimes even I find myself pumping and looking a bit at the water in front of me, but downward, and I automatically start to lose mast height. And if I look into the distance, automatically, well, I become lighter, my body is much higher, and then I end up with good mast height, good glide, and I generate speed. Well, I have an effective pumping motion. So really where you look is an important tip for getting started. Look straight ahead, look at the horizon. Don't look at the board, don't look at your feet. And when pumping, keep your eyes on the horizon. By looking at the horizon, that's what will allow you to have an effective pumping motion without really changing your technique. That's it. You'll really gain in mast height and so on. So where you look is really a mistake you need to be aware of. The second mistake that we sometimes make when starting out is with the pumping rhythm. We manage to get going, but we don't necessarily have a lot of speed yet. When we pump, we try to pump hard, but we don't actually let the foil react. We don't really understand the foil, etc. We push hard with our legs. And since our foil is almost completely in the water and we want to rise up, we give these quick kicks with the back foot, but it doesn't lift and we lose speed. In pumping, there's the back foot and the front foot. The front foot makes you accelerate. The front foot is not an enemy at all, pumping with the front foot. The front foot also makes us lose some mast height. So when you want effective pumping, this interplay between the front and back foot, even though you're generally pumping with both feet, the front foot will make you accelerate and cause you to lose a bit of mast height, but it's to gain speed. So you lose mast height when you press on the front foot to gain speed, and this speed allows you to press on the back foot to rise back up. So when you chain together small pumps using only the back foot like this, well, actually you simply lose your speed, and sometimes you try to pump so quickly thinking, I want to gain speed, I want to get back up, etc., that you don't even give the foil time to react. That means you press on the back and the foil doesn't even have time to rise back up before you're already pressing on the back again. So actually, well, you don't move forward, you lose your speed, that's it. Sometimes pressing on the back foot actually gives a little braking effect to the foil. To gain speed, you first need to press firmly on your front foot, and then after that, the back foot. And even when you're pumping in general, you shouldn't pump too quickly. Sometimes you pump well on your foil, you can manage a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but you end up with a low mast height. We don't know why, so we try to go faster and so on, but it doesn't change anything. So actually, that happens sometimes because we're pumping too quickly. And in fact, you need to give the foil time to react, to rise, to descend, and so on. So if we have a pumping motion with a much broader rhythm, when we press down on the back foot, we lighten up and let the foil rise. And then when we press on the front foot, that's when we can gain mast height and generate speed afterwards. So really always try to have a broad rhythm, and that will help you avoid getting too tired. Another mistake we sometimes make when starting out is that we're so eager to get out on the water that we go out in sessions that are a bit too difficult for us. We go out in bad conditions, like when there are waves or wind. So you should know that wind during pumping isn't necessarily easy to handle at first. So if you already know how to pump, there's no problem. But it's true that when you're just starting out, having a current against you, a current behind you, headwind, tailwind, sidewind, and so on, or waves, will completely change your takeoff, completely change your pumping and your sensations. Doing a lot of sessions in these kinds of conditions can be a bit discouraging and can actually hold back your progress, because you might have a session where you think, damn, I was doing this and it was working well, and now it's not working at all. In the beginning, really try to prioritize flat conditions. That will really help you. And then once you're comfortable, if you're stagnating and so on, there's absolutely no problem. You can go out in windy or wavy conditions and you'll learn a lot from that. I recommend that everyone try pumping in windy or flat conditions, but definitely not when you're just starting out only, once you already know how to pump well, understand your foil, and can make adjustments. So to have an effective pumping technique, there's something else that can sometimes get in the way. Sometimes we burn out our front leg too much or our back leg too much. Most often it's the back leg because we tend to give big, strong pumps with the back leg. So sometimes the problem is the stance. For pumping, you really need to position yourself towards the back, always keeping your foot right above the mast. You really need to have your feet spaced about shoulder width apart. There you go. The closer your feet are together, the more you'll be able to pump with both feet at the same time. So if you can actually pump with both feet at the same time and you don't have that offset between the back foot and the front foot, you'll balance the effort much more evenly between both feet and get less tired. So sometimes there are people who have too wide of a stance, and having too wide of a stance makes you tired and leads to bad technique. So you really shouldn't hesitate to position yourself well towards the back and actually pump with your whole body, not just your legs, but your entire body. So sometimes you might think that if you shift your weight to the back, you won't be able to put enough pressure on your front foot. But actually, that's because you need to pump with your whole body. That's it. When you pump, it's not just your front leg pressing down. It's your whole body that moves forward and shifts its weight. By using your body weight, that's when you get an effective pumping motion. You use as little energy as possible because it's much more tiring to keep pressing down with your front leg than it is to simply shift your center of gravity. To come back to this, when it comes to pumping, you really need to, well, this ties back to the other points we discussed, position yourself well towards the back. By positioning yourself well towards the back, you'll be able to pump with both legs at the same time, like this. There you go, doing pumping like this, and basically doing a half squat, that's it. And so what we're going to do is press down on the board to generate speed, lean forward a bit, and then really lighten your pivot to the point of lifting your toes a little. There you go. Lightening up is super important. Pumping is a half squat, and good lightening up. It really involves your whole body. It's not just about pumping with your feet. I hope these tips have been helpful to you. If you have any questions or need advice, feel free to send me your videos on Instagram and leave a comment. And if you want more videos, don't hesitate to subscribe. All right, see you soon.